Hello Gold Coasters. Well, it's an early start, but let me tell you, to see one of these puppies inflate at 6 in the morning is a truly amazing sight. But don't worry, we're taking you with us because this is all part of the Gold Coasting's ballooning experience. There's no place we won't go, there's no story we won't cover, so sit back, relax, because we're going sky high, baby. All right, we're full of hot air and ready to go. Let's do it. Why balloons?
Just like ballooning.
I mean, did you just fall into it? Is it like any other job, being an accountant or a doctor? You just fell into ballooning, or
No,
you've
I've always
actually got a
been
passion
flying.
for? Oh, really?
Always had a passion for flying. So
Yeah.
I started flying when I was 17.
Yep.
Flown hang gliders, paragliders, ultralights, light aircraft. I just loved flying. Ballooning was just something that I discovered that I really enjoyed.
All right, so you've done the whole gamut of aircraft. Why balloons then? What's the point of difference with balloons? Is it the relaxing nature of it?
Yes.
It's not so much you need speed, you need to be on the edge.
That's a good thing. No,
Yeah.
It's the relaxing nature of it
Yeah.
that makes it so attractive.
Yeah.
Other types of flying are often individual pursuits
okay. Yeah.
rather than group things.
You can get up here and you can have a chat with them, whereas if you're hammering through in an aircraft, it's sort of, they're just
quite
along for
the
the
same.
ride, really. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a more social.
So you find this quite calming, because I'm feeling quite calm up here. Like, you just think, how high are we now?
Oh, we're about 800 feet.
Well, I'm not super great with heights, but it's not an issue at all. We're just sort of cruising along, floating with the world passing beneath us. It's awesome. I can see why you got into it.
It's nice.
Yeah. Honestly, I cannot tell you how serene it is up here. Besides the sporadic burning of gas, the quiet is absolutely surreal. Purely for the novelty of absolute silence in the heart of the Gold Coast, hot air ballooning is definitely worth the experience. Or maybe if that dog stopped barking. Mate, it seems like such a calm pursuit. Like, you're barely aware that you're moving, but a lot can go wrong, can't it? I mean, how...
Not really.
Can it not?
No.
Because there's a lot of, you got all the gas here, and you're throwing up bursts of gas, and I just sort of assume that something could go wrong. You get a bad current of wind, or there's something go wrong with it.
It's so simple. The weather is early morning, very predictable, very gentle, very calm. It's just as gentle and calm.
So you don't need nerves of steel to do this sort of job?
Absolutely not. It's
Really?
a very relaxing pursuit.
Oh, really? I thought you were
Assume-
focused then. You were looking around. I
You're
thought you
aware
had to.
of what's going on, but
Yeah.
people just assume it must be dangerous, but it's not. It's not
Really?
a hazardous thing. It shouldn't be.
I wouldn't assume it was
lumped in with
hazardous. I just thought the
parachuting
guy
or-
controlling the basket would have to be on his game, because there's a lot to be aware of. So, I know what you're thinking. What are hot air balloons made of? The envelope is made of a reinforced fabric called ripstop nylon. The material is very lightweight and very strong. The fabric is coated on the inside to prevent leaks, and the baskets are made from rattan, and each one is individually woven by hand. So what's the physics behind it? The hot air goes into this airspace.
Hot air
it
is
gets
lighter
denser,
than-
so it gets lighter.
Opposite of that.
Right, gotcha.
Hot air is lighter than colder air. So a vessel filled with hot air, and that's what this is,
Yep.
is lighter than the air it displaces.
Ah, okay.
Therefore, it wants to lift. Helium gas in a toy balloon
Yep.
is lighter, makes the balloon lighter than the air it displaces, lighter than the air around it wants to float. Cork in water, same principle.
Perfect.
If you heat the air up inside, the balloon becomes lighter and wants to float.
And the more time you put in between your little bursts of hot air means it will gradually come down.
Well, you just don't put so much heat in. So
And because the air will cool by itself, and
it just cools a little bit, you start to descend, you just control the temperature. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
It's controlling the internal temperature, which at the moment is around 100 degrees centigrade in the top. So it's hot. It's hot air rather than warm air.
that's bloody hot air.
Yeah. That's what displaces the volume that gives us the lift. We're quite heavy. There's three of us. All the equipment and the balloon being carried along
Yeah.
with just a little bit of propane every now and again.
How do you direct us though? There's no rudder.
Okay, what we know, that's an interesting point. We know the wind on the ground is going that way.
Yep.
We know the wind at 300 feet is going that way. We're now at 600 feet and we're going that way. We climb a little bit more and keep going that way, but a bit quicker.
Oh, okay.
So we can land anywhere between there and there.
So you need to have a very good knowledge of your weather patterns before you go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good idea of what, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Which are why we let those test balloons go earlier.
So you can see what the wind's doing.
We have what we call drainage, which is cold air in the morning on the Gold Coast, going out to sea. Cold air from the mountains, it comes down the Mudgebar Valley here and the Nerang Valley there, okay? It's flowing towards the ocean.
Oh, okay, yep. And that's quite low, but when you get a little bit higher, you're missing that.
We're up into the weather wind now, which today happens to be an easterly.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's basically a westerly on the ground and an easterly aloft.
So it's relatively lucky to draw to, depending on what the weather system's like up high from where you
to land somewhere now, I'll land there. But you have to choose, okay? So if we want to land in the park over there, right?
Yep.
I can do. We can land in Royal Pines. We could land further along the river, over behind Carrara Stadium down here, anywhere.
Could you land on that little island down there? Just where that little patio thing is?
Possibly. We'd have to be left of it to start with.
That's bloody impressive. The world looks so much different. That sounds cliche, but it does, doesn't it? Just in terms of the things you've seen in terms of weather or sunset, sunrises.
Just the most beautiful time to be up. Everyone says the morning's the best part of the day.
Yeah. But you truly, this is the definitive definition of that, isn't
it? Early morning, good thing to do early morning. I mean, it's a nice
Get the paper, go up it. How high can they go? Most balloon flights occur between 500 and 1,000 feet above the ground, but balloons can fly at just above the ground or go much higher. The world record for altitude in a hot air balloon is 64,997 feet. Now, I know you're very smart, you Gold Coasters, but here's a hot tip. Did you know in 1783 the first hot air balloon was put up by a French scientist? And in the basket was a sheep, a duck and a rooster, and they're up for a whopping 15 minutes before it crashed back down on the ground. The sheep sadly didn't make it. I don't know if that's true, I just thought I'd tell you. So, the sheep, duck and chicken became the first balloon passengers on September 19, 1783 in the Montgolfiers' first demonstration flight for King Louis XVI. They all survived the trip, giving the king some assurance that human beings could breathe the atmosphere at the higher elevation. 2 months later, the Marquis Francois d'Alons, a major in the infantry, and Pilatre de Rosière, a physics professor, became the first human beings to fly in a hot air balloon. I love the coast, I always have. Beautiful place with beautiful people, but there is no substitute for seeing it lightly warmed by the sun, a frosty sheen over its surface, and all from a floating viewing platform 800 feet above.
Down 2.5. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. The Eagle has landed.
I've just been up on my balloon flight and it was amazing, but I got to tell you, ballooning full of misconceptions. I had two. First one being, I'm not great with heights, but being up there, it's so peaceful and so calm. You have no concept of height. You don't even think you're that high at all, so it was fine. Second one being, I thought it'd be unsafe. I'm such a chicken little. It's not unsafe at all. It couldn't be safer. I thought with all the gas and the hot air that it could be a little bit dangerous. It's not, people. I can tell you, there's no better way to see the Gold Coast than getting up in a balloon. It is absolutely fantastic. That's a hot tip. I tell you, there must be something to this ballooning caper. The staff and all the people that are involved in one way or another talk passionately about it. You can tell there is nowhere else they would rather be. And at 5:30 in the morning, that's pretty remarkable. This is just another example of one of the many things you can do on the coast. If you've ever thought of doing something like ballooning, if there's something holding you back, well, don't even think about it. All you have to do is just set your alarm clock. Just get up and do it. Come on, people, go ballooning.